Okay, so if you don't have a copy of this book, please get a copy of this book, Shift. All right, written in 2008, in the middle of one of the biggest market shifts we've seen in real estate, probably since the history of real estate. And there's one thing that I would say has led to my success as a realtor working on the seller side of the business. This is just validity and credibility information, guys. Listing an average of 10 to 12 homes every month for more than 13 years and selling an average of 10 to 12 months every year, even during the worst market we've ever had. And I probably would say it started on page 138 of Shift. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So super important, pen and paper, get ready. Please take notes. All right, stages to sell homes quickly in a shift. Study the market every day to master the science and skill of pricing. Please write that down. You want to master the science and the skill of pricing. It takes both. The most successful agents become masters of the skill and science of pricing. You are making an observation and a forecast. So you're making an observation and a forecast, and the observation is the science of current market pricing. This requires thorough fact-based analysis. In other words, study the market, be the local economist of choice, be a strategic pricing professional. This is what's going to make you stand out from the competition. This is what's going to make you different. This is where your value is. When you speak to these subjects at a really high level, nobody's going to ask you to reduce your commission. And as a matter of fact, one of the benefits of a shifting market is you're going to get fewer requests to lower your commission. In other words, now you're more valuable. The forecast is a developed skill. The skill of forecasting is an inexact ability to predict market direction and speed. In other words, based on what we're looking at, based on the science and knowing our numbers, where is the market going? That's the forecast. This is where the market is going. Here's why, and here's my suggestion in order to sell your home based on where the market is and where the market's going. Pick a neighborhood or zip code and study the numbers of active listings, new pending sales, days on market for active listings, pending sales, and sold. Pay attention. There's going to be a difference. Average days on market for active listings, average days on market for pending sales, average days on market for homes sold. What is that data telling you? More than likely, it's going to tell you the homes that are selling are the homes that are priced most competitively. What you need to remember is when the market is shifting from more to less, even when inventory is down, and inventory is down right now, track it over the last 4 years. It's at an all-time low over the last 4 years. However, fewer homes are being sold. A lot fewer homes are being sold. And it's important to understand, what does that mean? All right, so days on market. Look for trends. How does the days on market for active listings compare to pending contract? What's the days on market for solds with a price reduction versus those that got the price right first time? Pay attention to that. There's going to be a big difference. By the way, this one thing, if you can sit down at a kitchen table and have an intelligent conversation with your sellers and you can show them the difference between days on market for homes that had a price reduction versus days on market for homes that got the price right the first time. And then what's the cost? What's the cost of 90 days on the market versus 30 days on the market? Well, it's 60 days of holding costs. And if your holding cost is $4,000 a month for your mortgage, interest, taxes, insurance, HOA fees, then it costs you $8,000 to get it wrong. And more than likely, here's a better question. If getting the price wrong the first time means the home doesn't sell, goes 6 months, didn't sell, and then the next real estate agent takes the listing and gets it sold, what's the cost of getting it wrong the first time? Well, now it takes 6 months of holding costs. Same number, $4,000. Well, the cost of getting the price wrong is $24,000. And that's just the financial cost. What did it cost the family to still be in their home 6 months from now versus where they want to be? How is bedrooms, amenities, and location affecting demand? Pay really close attention to that. So for example, if you've got a home, and I talked to an agent yesterday who's on a coaching call, and we were talking pricing strategy, and he did a really smart thing. He reached out to me and he said, can we have a conversation before I meet with them? Because I want you to tell me what you're seeing. I'll tell you what I'm seeing. And what's interesting is the numbers said he had the price right. However, property at 500 to 550, the property didn't have a pool for them. This particular area, this location in that price range, you would expect homes would have a pool. So I said, let's do another search. Let's see how many homes sold without a pool in the last 6 months between 500 and 550, because I want to make sure, even though the numbers are telling us that we've got this right, I want to make sure that we still got this right without a pool. It's the same thing if you're meeting with somebody and they've got a 2-bedroom home in a location where most of the homes that are selling are 3 bedrooms, it's going to make a difference. Square footage could be the same. Year built could be the same, and amenities and updates could be the same. Location, they could be sitting next to one another. And are the 2-bedroom homes selling at the same rate that the 3 bedrooms are? You've got to pay attention to that. All right. What impact is new construction having on existing home sales? So if you've got a subject property that you're listing and they're going to be competing against new construction, what effect does that new construction neighborhood have on existing homes? Well, most of the time, a buyer is going to choose new construction over a pre-existing home. They're even willing to pay a little bit more for it and wait for the property to be finished. So if you're competing against new construction, you have to be even more competitive when it comes to pricing. You've got to give the buyers a reason to choose your listing versus new construction properties. And the only way you fix that is price. Okay, skipping. All right, use supply and demand to help sellers self-discover the right pond to go fishing in and fish with your bait in the water. All right. Run a supply and demand analysis in a 2 to 3 mile radius of the subject property. Okay, so you have the subject property, and we're going to look at an area around the subject property that's 2 to 3 miles. That's our competition. All right. Now, we're going to do a math equation. A is active listings between 5 and 550, or active listings between 550 and 600, or between 7 and 750, or between 9 and 950, or between 900 and $1 million. Whatever price you pick, but make sure you're looking in $25,000, $50,000 increments until you get over $1 million, and you can look in $100,000 increments. But you want to know what supply and demand is for every price range that you're working. It's important. How's the market? Well, it depends. Where is the home located? Is it a single family home or is it a condo? What kind of price is the home selling at? Because you can have a hot seller's market between 4 and 450, and then you get to 7 to 750, and it's a buyer's market. They can be across the street from one another. Literally, you have seller's market on one side of the street, buyer's market on the other side of the street. It's all about supply and demand. So A is active listings when it's within a 2 to 3 mile radius of your subject property, within a $50,000 range most of the time. B, sold in the last 6 months in the same price range, in that same 2 to 3 mile radius? How many properties between 500 and 550 sold in the last 6 months? C. C is B divided by 6. So you're going to take 24 properties sold in the last 6 months. You're going to divide it by 6, which means there's 4 selling every 30 days. Cool. We know how many are selling every 30 days now. D. You're going to take A divided by C. In other words, you're going to take the number of active listings divided by the number of homes that are selling every 30 days equals 2 months, equals 3 months, equals 4 months. Whatever it is, it's important that you know. Now, don't just tell the seller, okay, there's a 3-month supply of inventory, because most people would look at that and say, that's a good thing. It's a seller's market. Here's the other way of looking at it. There's 9 homes for sale. There's 3 selling every 30 days. Now, in order to sell your home, you have to be one of the top 3 properties, because 3 are going to sell in the next 30 days. Now, if yours doesn't sell in the next 30 days, then it's the next 30 days after that. It's every month you're competing to be one of the 3 if 3 are selling every month. And in order to be one of the 3, you have to be one of the best properties on the market, best in condition, and best in price. All right, using the supply and demand formula in real life, let's say that A is 9 active listings, B is 18 sold, then C would be 18 divided by 6 equals 3, and D would be 9 listings divided by 3 equals 3 months of inventory, which is the example I just gave you. In order to sell between $500,000 and $600,000, we have to be one of the top 3 properties on location, condition, and price. Now, by the way, if you're not one of the top 3 properties on location and condition, you can still win the battle. Where do you win it? Price. Your home has to be even more competitively priced. When you're having a pricing conversation, it's not about determining market value. It's about the right strategy to get your home sold in order to get you to Atlanta so you can be there in time to start your new job. Now, what's our strategy? Well, it depends. It depends on inventory. It depends on supply and demand. It depends on how many homes are selling every 30 days, how many homes we're competing against, and where do we need to be in order to be one of the 3. And if we're not top 3rd in location and condition, then we better be at the very bottom of bottom 3rd in price. It's the only way we're going to sell. So real life example again, you've got 9 homes for sale between 500 and between 550 and 600,000. Well, we're going to look at those 9 homes that are for sale. The bottom 3rd would be the bottom 3. Find the lowest one, price below that. Now you're priced to sell. Now, the seller may say, I don't want to give my home away. Okay, cool. Remember, sellers go to script school too. And if we sold your home for $510 in the next 30 days, and 4 months from now, it's worth $500. Did you give your home away? No, you sold it for $510. And my biggest fear for you, script, write it down. My biggest fear for you is not that you're going to get less money for your home than you want. My biggest fear for you is that we're going to be here 6 months from now having the same conversation, and it will be even less then. Now let that sit. You should be quiet after that. Give them an opportunity to respond. We're more motivated by avoiding pain than we are by going towards pleasure. I'm parking on pain. We could be here 6 months from now. Your home could be worth even less. Meanwhile, you're not in Atlanta in time to start your new job. So what you probably did is you went ahead and moved, and now your home is vacant. And now you're paying for 2 homes because you got to live somewhere in Atlanta. Meanwhile, your home back in Tampa is vacant. Tyler P, talk to me. There you go.
Well, you know, John, Zillow says my house keeps going up 1% every single month.
Cool. So what I would recommend you do, Tyler, is call Zillow and see if they want to buy your home.
I like that.
That is a response, right? I mean, you think I've heard that before? Of course I had, because I had a response, right?
I gotta
And
use that one.
you know, Zillow's not going to buy your home. Neither am I, and neither are you. The only thing that matters is what buyer thinks. And in a competing market where sellers are competing for buyers, you're going to have somebody who's more motivated than you are. And they're going to lower their price to sell their home. Now, the moment they do that, are prices going up or are they going down? They're going down.
Nice.
All right, so when you're sitting at the kitchen table, I just want you to pull out a piece of paper. A lot of times when I'm sitting at the kitchen table and I'm having a listing conversation, I'm drawing pictures. All right, and this is one of the most simple pictures that I'll draw. All right, there it is. Everybody can see that. So in a good market, you're going to price your home based on solds. The last home that sold creates a new floor, which means the next one's going to sell for more than the last one did. Now, this is a market where buyers are competing for listings, where there's more buyers than there are homes for sale. Makes sense. As the market starts to shift, you don't want to price your home based on solds. You actually want to base your property based on actives. In other words, your competition. Because the last home that sold creates a new ceiling. The next home that sells is going to sell for less. So we're going to pay more attention to actives than we are solds when the market starts to shift. Makes sense, doesn't it? Simple pen and pencil and paper drawing, and I promise you they'll get it. If they're motivated, they'll get it. If they're not, they won't. What do we do then? I would rather turn the opportunity down today than let you down 6 months from now. And this looks like a time where you have a goal or an expectation that I cannot meet or exceed. So based on that, I would rather turn the opportunity down today than let you down 6 months from now. Do you mean you don't want to take my listing? Yes, that's what I mean. Walk away. I promise you it's powerful and you'll be glad you did. All right. 0 to 60 days on the market, price based on the floor. In other words, we're on this side of the sheet of paper. 90 days or more, price based on actives. We're on this side of the paper. I realize that the Board of Realtors says you're still in a seller's market. I get that. I don't say that. That's not my opinion. When we're over 90 days of inventory, we are moving towards a buyer's market. Now, how long is it going to take for us to get there? I don't know. It might take 30 days. It might take 3 months, but we're going there. Go back to where we first started the conversation today. It's science and skill, and we're forecasting based on science. We're forecasting based on what the market is doing. Now we're forecasting where it's going based on what we see. All right, wrapping it up. From page 138 of Shift. A market shift underscores the importance of pricing and exposes cavalier agents who don't give pricing strategies researched attention and serious thought. The most successful agents become masters of pricing. and masterful in getting their sellers to trust the findings and act on them. All right, closing question. What does that mean to you? Explain masterful in getting sellers to trust the findings and act on them. You must become masters at the art of persuasion. That's the answer. All right, talk to me. And wow,
John, how are you?
always good, my friend.
Good, great. Hey, what did you do, or what can we do when there's a little pocket of properties that have not sold like within the last 10, 15 years? Like nothing has sold in that area. And it's a specific pocket because it's nothing compared to what's, around the 2 to 3 mile radius.
Yeah, that's a good question. So when I've got a property that I cannot find comparables for, I'm going to go to, let's get an appraisal. In order to sell your home, it's probably going to be financing. And in order to do that, we're going to need appraisal. So let's go ahead and find out what the appraised value is. And let's start with that. Now, if the market's difficult, I want to price the property below the appraised value. And I want to market that, Manuel, that the property is being sold below appraised value.
Okay.
All right.
And I mean, some sellers would be open to getting the appraisal done, others won't.
Get
But
it. I
yeah,
get it. And here's my point on that. If they're not willing, and by the way, I'm willing to pay for this as a realtor. Now, I'm not going to pay for it right now. I'm going to pay for it at closing. In other words, our home has to sell in order for me to pay for it.
right.
And they're still not willing to get an appraisal. Do I want that listing? Maybe.
Well, if we're offering to pay for it at cost of escrow, then there shouldn't be any issue, because then the buyers will pay for their own appraisal also, because the lender's going to require it.
Oh yeah, it's not, but your appraisal doesn't mean the buyer doesn't have to have one. They still do, of course. But Manuel, I'll answer that, and then I'm going to go to Steve. There will still be sellers who don't want to get an appraisal because they know their home is worth less than they think it is, and they don't want proof that it's worth less than they think it is.
That is true. Yes, definitely. There will be sellers.
All right. Now, unmotivated. And we don't take unmotivated listings.
Got it.
It's my answer. Get an appraisal or I walk. Now, I'm not going to say it just like that. But
Of course not.
Steve, talk to me.
I'm just going to say this, and I'm sure there was other people like me. I truly did not understand what you've said in the past about pricing strategy until today.
Thank you.
That it has nothing to do with what's sold. It has to do with what do we need based on that to get your home sold.
There you go. I'm glad that I was able to connect the dots. I'm really glad. Good. Then I'll put a check mark next to today as success. All right. All right, guys, I've got 9:30 or past 9:30. It's actually 9:27, so we're good. I don't see any other hands up in the room, so we're going to sign off. And
Great call.
thank you, Tyler. Thank you. Tomorrow is script and role play practice. Thursday, I have a guest speaker. I'll tee it up tomorrow, so you'll know what we're talking about on Thursday. Now, Friday, I said this yesterday, I'm going to say it every day of the week. I'm not here. I'm on a plane to Asheville. So there's not going to be a Survive to Thrive call on Friday. I think you guys get a break from me. You like that. All right. Stop recording.